children with autism and you're using AAC devices, this episode is a can't miss episode for you. We are going to talk about some amazing research that just came out this month, May 2024, in JSLHR. And this is the largest study of its kind. It's a randomized controlled trial study. We can look at this study and that we can provide telepractice, AAC instruction as effectively as in-person AAC instruction. This is huge. This is a game changer. So if you're like me, your parents are dual income. Your parents are both working through the school day. Your caseload is capped out. You are in therapy every minute of the day. And for your lunch hour, you are doing your paperwork and your meetings. There is simply no time to do AAC instruction for parents. So what to do? Well, the reason I'm getting my doctorate right now in early childhood special education at University of Florida is because they're known for parent education. What I'm studying is how I can educate parents on how to use AAC devices through digital means. So this is my passion project. This is what I'm committing to this doctorate program because it's going to be a game changer. And the research I'm going to share with you is really going to change how we do business. This study that just came out is of 60 children with autism that are toddlers between the ages of 18 to 30 months. Okay, so these are toddlers that are defined as non-speaking. I don't like that term because I've never met a child who's totally non-speaking. I prefer to say minimally speaking. Every child I've worked with has at least said a word or word approximation. So I don't like using the word non-speaking. So let's just call them minimally speaking. So when you're looking at these children, they divided them randomly and said 30 of them are going to get face-to-face instruction on how to use the AAC devices. The parents are going to be instructed in a face-to-face manner. The second group was given digital instruction in which the parents were instructed through synchronous and asynchronous means on how to use the AAC device. Now, the AAC device, I don't want you to get all caught up in. It was the picture exchange communication system, and they did the exact same protocol for both situations. So what you do in this type of study, which is really important, is you keep everything the same except for the medium. So in one medium, they did it in the child's bedroom live with the clinicians there and the parents there. In the other medium, they did it through video camera. So that is the only thing that changed. The important thing for you to know is that the outcomes were similar. They had similar outcomes in how proficient the children came in using AAC. They had similar outcomes when it came to spoken words. They had similar outcomes when it came to non-spoken communication acts in terms of their frequency and in terms of their type. So all things at the end of the day were the same, whether the instruction was delivered in person or whether the instruction was delivered digitally. So this is extremely important information for us, which tells us, as this article summarizes, a telepractice approach to AAC intervention for non-speaking children with autism is a viable and efficacious service delivery model. So it's similar in AAC gains in terms of the number and type of spoken and non-spoken communication outcomes. So what this tells us is this is something we want to pay attention to. This is something we want to develop so that we are able to use our time wisely, so that we're able to use digital means to coach parents, to empower parents to use AAC devices in the home environment. Because we know from the research that if these AAC devices are used in the home environment, you're going to get better outcomes in terms of communication. So let's dive in because success leads clues. First of all, I'd just like to give a round of applause to this researcher. The researcher's name is Avi Nash Mishra from Sacred Heart University in Connecticut. And what really excites me about this research is that this is 6 children. That's huge when it comes to autism research in the field of AAC. So most of the studies you're going to find about autism in AAC is case studies, which we're talking about less than 5 children were involved in these case studies. So this is not something that we can really use to inform practice. This study, however, is 60 children that are randomly assigned. This is something we could use to inform practice. And this is a study that showed that through telepractice, you can be effective. So what we want to do with this study, and this is another reason, by the way, before I dive in, I'm impressed, is this study was not done on a $1 million NIH grant. This study was done on an intramural grant from Sacred Heart University. So when you look at those kind of grants, you're looking at maybe $10,000. I'm not sure what the exact amount was, but what a great use of funds to be able to construct such a useful study that's going to have such great clinical implications for all of us. And it's on what, maybe $10,000. So that's exciting to me. And that just shows the power of one individual in that if you can do so much with so little if you're creative about it. So I'm excited about this. Now, before this, I share the study, and then we're going to reverse engineer it, and we're going to say, what did they do? What can we do? So we're going to steal like an artist. Before we do that, I do want to give some caveats. So in this study, it was largely Caucasian participants. And in the study, all of the parents had a bachelor's degree or higher degree, graduate degree. And in addition to that, it was higher socioeconomic status. There was no one that was at the poverty line or below the poverty line. So the authors said that they did try to seek out participants that were diverse. However, unfortunately, they were unable to get these diverse participants. They got what they got. But nonetheless, 60 is a huge number. Random control trial is wonderful. This is good stuff that we have here. We have nothing near it at this scale and nothing near it in this tight of a design study in which the only variable that is different is that it's delivered in person versus remotely. So they're doing everything the exact same. So that tells us remote works. This is something that is worth investing in. Let's find out what they did. So what I'm going to share with you is the step-by-step process because success leads clues. So what Avi Nash did is he referred to a framework that I had to look up, and I want you to check this out as well. I'm going to add this article to the notes. It's worth it to get this article. This is another good reason that I'm in a doctoral program because I don't have to pay for articles. I get them for free from University of Florida. Thank you for that, University of Florida. The article is called Telepractice and Speech Language Therapy, the Use of Online Technologies for Parent Training and Coaching. The author is Melinda Snodgrass. I encourage you to actually download this article because the article is that good. The article fleshes the step-by-step process out. It defines each of the steps. It gives examples of each of the steps. It even gives you those arrows and those frameworks and those flow charts for those of you that like that kind of information presented in that kind of sophisticated manner. This is an article that is actually more like a tutorial that you can take and immediately follow in your own practice. Now, I'm going to give you the steps that you're going to follow. First, there's going to be the 3 steps we're going to follow before we start this telepractice. And then after that, I'm going to give you a simple 5-step process in how you're going to do the telepractice. So when you do the telepractice, you have your choice. You can do it live, so it's me to me live, same time, or you can do it videotaped, okay? So what I want you to do is just beggars can't be choosers. Sometimes you just have to do something messy and see what works, okay? We're in a new frontier here. The first step you're going to want to do is you're going to say, what is the target strategy that I want the parent to be able to do? So this might be step one. You simply want that the child learns to request a desired toy or desired food or a desired activity, and they push the button and then they get it. That might be your step one. So you want the parent to be able to use their AAC device. Suppose it's a Lamp for Life, or it's a TD Snap, or it's a Touch Chat, or it's a Proloquo, or it's the Picture Age communication system, or it's a core board, whatever you're going to use. Suppose that your step one. Your step one is that the child's able to request an item by pointing to the symbol, whatever the symbol is, and then receiving the item. That's the target skill. Step two is, how can you explain it in a parent-friendly language manner? So think about, how can I explain this in a memorable way using analogies so that parents are going to remember, okay, this is all I want to do. I want the child in step one to just select something from the menu that they want. Maybe that's the way you're going to word it, so it's easy for the parent to remember. Now, step three, now we haven't even started the telepractice. We're just thinking through, how are we going to set us up for success? Is we're going to want to have a list of what are the objects or activities that the child loves. So it might be the foods that the child loves. So the greater the list, the better, because if a child gets sick of a food or the child gets sick of a toy or an activity, you're going to have a variety of toys to work with. And what this author did, Avi Nash, is every 2 weeks they get updated preferences of what the child likes, which is really often every 2 weeks. I would say that's a lot of work. And you can do that using a Google Doc, which is ongoing. Is there anything new to add this week? A new song that the child likes, a new toy the child likes, a new food that the child likes, a new sensory activity that the child likes. So the next thing we're going to do, we have that background. That background, once again, is, okay, what is the strategy? How am I going to explain it in a simple, parent-friendly manner that's memorable? And then the next thing is, we're going to have a list of, what does this child love? Now I'm going to go through the 5-step process of how you're going to make this actually happen. So step one, you're going to teach the parent the strategy. So you can model the strategy on a digital tape. This is what we're going to do. What we want the child to do first is just select from the menu what the child would like, and then you provide the item. You're going to model it to the child, and then you're going to provide the child to the item. And you're going to model it again and provide the item to the child. Then you're going to give the child an opportunity to do it, and then you're going to provide it. So maybe you say, I'm going to do it 9 times before I'll give the child, on number 10, an opportunity to press it and then give it to me. So maybe you'll do 8 times, and then you're going to give the child the opportunity for 2. So it's going to be a lot of modeling in the beginning, and then you're going to pause to give the child an opportunity to do it on their own. Maybe that's the strategy you're going to use. Then after that, we have step 2. And step 2 is where you coach the parent and you observe the parent actually doing it. So you talk to them, okay, what is that your child likes the most? Okay, your child likes tickles the most. Okay, you're going to press tickle, and then you're going to immediately tickle the child. You're going to press tickle, and you're going to say it, and then you're going to immediately tickle the child. You're going to do it again, you're going to immediately tickle. You're going to do this 9 times, and the 10th time, you're going to pause, and then you're going to see if the child presses tickle, and then you're going to tickle the child. If the child doesn't do it within 3 to 5 seconds, go ahead and press tickle, and then you're going to tickle the child. So then the parent videotapes themselves doing the activity with the child. Then you watch the videotape, reflect on the videotape. Is the parent doing the strategy correctly? Is the child learning the skill and the child mastering the skill and able to independently do the skill? So when you're looking at that, if the answer is yes, the parent can do the skill, and yes, the child is able to do the skill as well independently, the strategy, then what you're going to do is you're going to say, how can we take it to the next level? So maybe you're saying, okay, now we're going to have 2 things from the child to choose from. Does the child want tickles, or does the child want this toy. And it might be something that maybe the child's not interested in. So it's like something the child really likes or something the child doesn't like so much that are right next to each other. So you'll see how it works out. It's two things the child likes. They're making a choice between two different options. Maybe that's your next step. You're going to do the exact same thing in which you're going to tell the parent, we're going to model, pause, and then let's see if the child does it. Then once again, the parent's going to do it. If the parent is demonstrating the skill, the child's demonstrating the skill, then you're going to say, you're demonstrating the skill. Let's take it to the next level. This is what we're going to do next. If the child is not demonstrating the skill, the parent is not demonstrating the skill, we're going to troubleshoot and say, what could we DSD? How could we do something different to set the child up for success? So we're going to do it that way, and then we rinse and repeat. So the 5 steps that we have here is 1, we're going to teach the parent the skill. 2, we're going to observe the parent using the skill. And 3, we're going to reflect. And then 4, we're going to provide feedback. And then 5, we're going to determine whether the child has mastered the skill and the parent has mastered the strategy. And if they have, we're going to go and take it to the next level. If they haven't, we're going to do something different to set the parent and the child up for success. We might provide more cueing for the parent, more cues to set the child up for success. So we're going to do something different. We might make it more salient by positioning the device in a different manner. So it depends on the child, and we can give individual feedback. Now you can do all of this live through a camera, or you can do this through digital taping and sharing digital tapes back and forth. Either way, you can try this telepractice model out. This is a new frontier, what we're doing here. This isn't set in stone. We could be doing things messy right now and incorrectly, but the only way we're going to know is by creating this minimal viable product and putting it out there and testing it in the real world and seeing what works and what doesn't work. But the neat thing is we have a really great starting point. And I encourage you to steal like an artist, in which you look at this article that's by Avinash Mishra in JSLHR this month, which is the randomized controlled trial comparing face-to-face versus remote delivery of low-tech augmentative and alternative communication in non-speaking children with autism disorder. Go ahead and get that article. This is your evidence for what you're doing. Then go ahead and grab the other article, because success leads clues, that Avi Nash recommended, which is by Melinda Snodgrass and colleagues, Telepractice and Speech Language Therapy, the use of online technologies for parent training and coaching. So go ahead. You have all that you need to reference. And now it's time for you to create. I want you to take this information and I want you to roll up your sleeves and make the world a better place, one child at a time. You are always going to be first.